Welcome back to the NRL Punters Weekly Digest, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know leading into this week's NRL matches. It's time to talk about who the best fullback in the NRL is at present. Before we get into this topic, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please give me a little sub and turn on your notifications so you can stay in the loop of all my content. And if you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you don't like it, well, I won't appreciate it so much, but if you feel the need to give me a thumbs down, I totally understand. And just generally let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments section below. I love some of the feedback I've been getting from everyone who has contributed. I like that discourse. I like getting some dialogue happening. Let's get into the topic. The reason this topic came to mind was, I think it was last week, Mick Ennis came out and said that Tom Trbojevic, in his opinion, is the best fullback in the NRL. Instead of refuting that, I thought, well, I'll dig into that a little bit deeper. Obviously, he's got a very kind of, subjective opinion. It's his personal opinion. There is a degree of objectivity to it. Mick Ennis, was a great player in his day. He's also a coach now, and he's a great analyst. I have a lot of respect for his footy mind, so I know he's coming from the right place there. Hey, I may or may not agree with him. I guess we'll find out by the end of the video. I thought I'd delve into this topic a little deeper, but I wanted to take a completely pragmatic and analytical approach with this. So I thought I'll look at the numbers based on some key performance indicators for fullbacks, some KPIs, if you will. The KPIs I have chosen, there are 6: tries, try assists, line breaks, tackle breaks, and missed tackles. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 categories there. And I whittled my short list of fullbacks to 6. And that was just based purely on the numbers. I went with the 6 fullbacks that have got the best kind of numbers, and I thought I'd compare those numbers. Now, I want to preface here, because I can feel like some of you may get upset. If your favorite fullback is not in this list, please do not take it personally. I went purely off stats. I will just come out and straight up say some of the fullbacks that don't make this list are some of the best fullbacks in the game. Unfortunately, their stats just didn't stack up against the other players. Doesn't mean they're any less of a good player. Obviously, each team uses their fullback in different ways. So there are a lot of stats. There are a lot of things that a fullback does that aren't necessarily picked up in the stats that show value in different ways. All right. I just wanted to mention that before we get into it. What I've done is I've ranked each of these 6 fullbacks in each of the categories from 1 to 6. And what I've done is I've added up their scores and then divided it by 6 to come up with an average score. And that's how I've determined who stats-wise is the best fullback in the NRL at the moment. So this is purely objective. It is removed of any of my opinion. But I'll give my opinion at the end of the video. All right, let's get into it. So in terms of tries, Ryan Papenhuyzen leads the list at 8 tries at 1.6 per game. I should also mention too, I've whittled these all down to per game stats because obviously some fullbacks have played more games than others. Ryan Papenhuyzen tops that list, 8 tries, 1.6 per game, followed by Tommy Turbo, Latrell Mitchell, Matt Duffy, James Tedesco, and Clint Gutherson. In the try assist department, Tommy Turbo leads with 9 try assists at 2.25 per game. That is absolutely exceptional. Followed closely by Latrell Mitchell on 9 at 1.5 per game. Then we've got Clint Gutherson, Ryan Papenhuyzen, James Tedesco, and Matt Duffy. Line breaks. Tommy Turbo leads again. 9 line breaks at 2.25 per game. Another exceptional stat from him. Then we've got Pappy at 8 line breaks at 1.6 per game, followed by Latrell, Matt Duffy, Gutho, and Teddy. In the tackle breaks department, Latrell, the monster that he is, leads there at 35 tackle busts at 5.83 per game. You know, when people tell me that Latrell Mitchell is really, really good, I know that he's really, really good. But when I'm watching a game of football, I feel like I miss out on a lot of the nuances in his game. And this is where those nuances are picked up. 5.83 per game. Tommy Turbo not too far behind on 23 tackle breaks at 5.75 per game. followed by Teddy, Pappy, Matt Duffy, and Gutho. Run meters, Ryan Pappenhausen at 958 run meters at 191.6 per game, followed by Turbo at 191.25. Then we've got Gutho, Latrell, Matt Duffy, and James Tedesco. In the missed tackles department, Latrell Mitchell is the cleanest of all the fullbacks. Now, this is a very important KPI because, as we know, fullbacks don't make nearly as many tackles a game as, say, a forward will make, for example, or even maybe a center. But the tackles that they make are usually the most important tackles because they're usually saving tries. Latrell Mitchell averages only 2 missed tackles per game at 0.33. We think of you think over an 80-minute performance, the amount of opportunities, try-scoring opportunities that are going to come across his path, that is an exceptional stat. That is really, I was so impressed when I saw that, I've got to be honest. Matt Duffy surprised me a little bit. 0.44 missed tackles per game at a total of 4 missed tackles this season. Also very impressive. Then we've got Pappy, Teddy, Gutho, and Turbo. Now, down to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to go from 6 to 1 in terms of the best fullbacks in the NRL at the moment. By the numbers. Again, by the numbers. Teddy in 6th place with a score of 4.83. Remember, I add their score of of where they placed in each of the categories. Add those scores up, divide by 6, sorry. Wait, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, it is 6 categories because I forgot run meters initially there. Do apologize. I was having a bit of a brain fart there. Okay, so in 6th spot, so we've got James Tedesco at 4.83 average score. Gutho at 4.66. Duffy in 4th place at 3.33. Ryan Pappenhausen in 3rd at 2.5. Latrell Mitchell in 2nd at 2.33. And tied, well, I should say tied for first, he and Tommy Turbo both on 2.33. So there you have it. The numbers suggest that Tommy Turbo and Latrell Mitchell are the best fullbacks in the game at the moment. If you want to know my personal opinion, if I was starting a team from scratch and I could have, within the salary cap, I could have any player to play fullback for me, any player I wanted, on whatever money, Turbo would be my guy. And the reason for that is outside of the stats. I like a big rangy winger, fullback. He's a guy who can absorb a lot of pressure. And look, some of the smaller fullbacks do an exceptional job of it. You know, the Tedescos, the Pappenhausens, these guys, they're real. Duffy, obviously a very small fullback. AJ Brimson, very, very tough fullbacks. But I love a tall, rangy fullback. And some of the things I've seen Tommy Turbo do in the past few weeks, last week in particular, that performance, I haven't seen a performance like that from a fullback for a while. I just, for mine, he's up there with the best player in the game. So Tommy Turbo's my man. Let me know your thoughts. Who's your favorite fullback? Even if they're not your favorite fullback, who do you think is the best fullback in the NRL at the moment? Just being completely objective. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.